Welcome to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. On the podcast, we'll talk to experts on everything from Thomasville history and events to daily operations and city business, all while having some fun in the process.
Hello and welcome to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. I am Austin Reams, and I am here with Ricky Zambrano, legendary co-host of Thomasville Insights. And if you don't know he's legendary, just ask him. Ricky, glad you're here today.
So am I. I'm glad I'm here because, I just don't know sometimes. Sometimes you just don't know if you're going to wake up the right way. But you know what? When it's a day you're going to be able to hang out with Austin, it's that much easier to just wake up. I think I probably woke up like 5 a.m. kind of ready to go, and probably the laps around my bed, and my wife was probably like hitting me with a shoe or something to go back to bed. But that's what Austin brings to the day.
I don't even try to bring the sunshine, and it happens. Actually, Ricky's lying, and Ricky, are you kind of like me? Is your mood determined by what 24 to 18-year-old football players do on a Saturday? Is that are you shallow like me?
Well, I'm glad you kind of brought that up because that might have a little bit to do with the excitement on. I do have a crimson polo on right now. If that's any of the clues of what the week has been like, something exciting for some.
Yeah,
happened last Saturday. But then again, it's kind of really happened. What now? 10 out of the 11 last games. So I don't know.
You're gonna get some hate mail now, Ricky.
Is it a norm? I don't know. But yeah, last Saturday night was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We still haven't even said what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
like I said, just college football is fun. It's gonna be a fun year. No matter the results you had, if your team is good, there's a good chance they're gonna be in the playoffs. I think we're in for a wild year. So I'm looking forward to that. And speaking of wild, we have Kenny Thompson with us today. You want to talk about that?
Well, first, before we talk about Kenny, let's talk about you for one more second.
Do we really want to do that?
Yeah, we are. We're gonna do it. All right. We're gonna ask one more thing, and next podcast we're gonna change this up a little bit. But let's ask one more thing that's interesting about Austin.
All right, well, I always try to relate these to our guest a little bit, and I don't really know much of anything that's interesting about me, so we do need to change that question. But I will say that my family, when we're on vacation and on trips, my family laughs at me, for lots of reasons. But one of them is that I really like good design. I like beautiful buildings, like I love going through a town and a beautiful courthouse, and of course, Thomasville will spoil you. But when it's not beautiful, I don't know if disgusted is the right word, but it just kind of bothers me.
Bored and
it just bothers me of why can't we make beautiful things? So it's kind of so anyway. That's just kind of my goofy little shaking my fist against the modern world today of why can't we have pretty things? And you see this in town, right? You'll see a beautiful building next to a rectangular box, and you're like, what? I understand that, those things are, I understand cost and efficiency and all that, but, I don't know.
And I think that's fair, right? Because there's certain architects that, certain looks that look better than others. And I love the look of old traditional churches versus, again, not to demean any type of church, but, the look of old traditional churches is beautiful, and not,
I agree.
Get a little personal, but when my wife and I got married, one of the things we wanted was a church that was old. That was important as part of our wedding, and we found that. And, again, this just building structures and look of things are just beautiful, and I'm kind of right there with you. So I don't think that's quirky at all.
You're probably not the curmudgeon about it that I am. My family kind of gets embarrassed that I'm just we pass by an ugly building and I'm like, hey,
it's like
look at that, kids! It's an ugly building.
Right? You're like Chevy Chase in European Vacation.
I don't remember that one. You'll have to explain that one to me, but. All right. What about you, Ricky?
All right. Well, since we talked football a little bit, I'll go ahead and go with with one of the most exciting ones, I guess, that some may or may not know. But I was lucky enough. Some may know that I was a college coach, and I was lucky enough to be at LSU at the same time when Nick Saban was there.
And you were a college
I was
soccer
a college
coach.
soccer coach.
Was
Yes,
it
not a college football
was
coach.
it
I wasn't a linebacker.
That's
Yeah,
right.
if that's hard to believe.
Yeah, if you see a picture, could have been a free safety maybe, but
Kicking coach.
yeah, king coach. That's right. But was it at LSU? Was it men's or women's?
It was women's soccer
Women's,
at LSU,
okay.
yeah, and so realistically, I'm lucky enough to be able to call Nick Saban a former coworker.
Yeah. Did you give him some tips on how to win?
Yeah. Well, actually, I had a little secret that helped LSU win the national championship back in those days. So, yeah, no,
He just he's plagiarizing you. Is that what I'm hearing?
there might be a little truth to that, but no, I mean, again, it's one of those things where, when you're in certain environments, you get the chance to learn, from a lot of people. And even if you're not sitting right next to them, learning from them, you're just watching the day to day, and that was pretty cool. That was great stats back then. Not popular in this area, but Jimbo Fisher was there at that time.
Crazy good staff. He had.
Yeah,
Really, probably one of the best
Will
coaching staffs.
Will Muschamp and recent news, Derek Dooley was another guy that was part of our staff. There's a little guy up in Athens. Some little unknown was at LSU at that time as well as a GA and then an assistant. This guy called Kirby Smart. You might have heard of him. I think he's turned out all right.
He's done really well.
Yeah, I think he's turned out. So yeah, so it was Nick put together some phenomenal stats back then, and it wasn't just track and field. Obviously, you had a baseball program and got to work under the tutelage of our athletic director, Skip Bertman. So, I mean, that's a legend.
Yeah. And he's a baseball guy, right? Wasn't he a baseball coach?
He's a little bit of a baseball
Okay,
guy with 5 national championships
yeah.
under his belt and, built the LSU baseball program from nothing.
Yeah.
So a lot of great leadership lessons in those days. And it helped me throughout my coaching career. And even some of those things these days, just, the discipline from, that there is in someone like Nick Saban, you just try and what can you learn from somebody? So
now I feel bad for completely ignoring you all the time. This is, I feel guilty now.
No, you're probably still better off ignoring me. But speaking of learning.
Oh yeah, here we go. A learned man.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is the beauty of what we do. We get to learn from people as well when we ask them to join us and have conversations. So today we do have, as you mentioned earlier, we have City Planner Kenny Thompson, and we're going to get to learn a little bit more about the traditional neighborhoods infill district that was recently passed by our city council.
Yeah, and we always pick on Kenny, so it's glad to have him here in person so he can defend himself. So we're glad you're here, Kenny.
I'm happy to be here. So yeah. So and also I do have a question for you. Your favorite town that you go visit with your family. I'm curious. I'm just curious now. What would you say off the top of your head?
Man, I don't know.
Is it College Town, the Dr. Pepper from the Dr. Pepper commercial?
That's right. That's right. I like certain parts of other towns, and I have most of our vacations are nearby. So, but Asheville's pretty. I really kind of like that. But there's just kind of different parts of different towns that I like. But it's just kind of the older parts of the town where they've preserved it. I'm trying to think of other towns in Georgia that really kind of are Thomasville that I want to see. I've heard, is it Washington? That's really kind of a really pretty town. I haven't seen that one, but anyway, so I don't really have a go-to answer for you, Kenny.
See, no, that's okay. I mean, I was curious because as you were talking, it made me think one of the most frustrating things that my family complains about me on family vacations is I always make sure we take the back roads instead of going on the interstate or the highway. And we'll get into a town and I'll stop and I'll get out. I'm like, I just really need to take a picture. This is a great street, or that's a great little downtown square.
But Ken, you got to
come
take the
on,
side
Dad.
roads because you're probably on your bike.
Probably
I
on the
mean,
bike. I say, well, not with 5 kids in tow.
but they
We've
got
tried
those
that.
long
It doesn't.
bikes where you can put everybody on it,
They
right?
they
Aren't
do.
those real bikes like in the books?
No, maybe they are. I've found that if we're going more than about 5 miles as a family, I'll just throw them in the back of the Suburban, which is the other thing people don't know about me. My first car might be a bike, but my second car is a Suburban. So I'd
One extreme to the other.
That's right.
So I'll say it's a balancing act.
That's
For
right.
those of you that don't know Kenny, Kenny is very what would be the proper word?
People say a lot of things about me.
Yeah,
so-
I was gonna say,
we won't
you
talk
gotta
about
be
those
careful.
things, but he likes to look after things the right way, and he loves to walk, loves to bike. Just really kind of natural modes of transportation is really what Kenny does. If Kenny could walk 5 blocks instead of jumping in the car, some of us would jump in our car. Kenny will take that walk, so I really respect that out of him, and his usage of his bike as well. He lives a little closer to work
Yeah.
than some of us do.
But that is very traditional, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that is a very traditional way of how cities have been for a long time. And so it segues into what our city council recently did. They passed a traditional neighborhood infill ordinance. So we're going to use the abbreviation TNID. And let's don't gloss over what infill means. But what is that? Can you get into that, Kenny?
Sure. So the new district that was passed by City Council really goes back to our comprehensive plan. And so when the city in 2018 developed the comprehensive plan, one of the primary things that we did is we established, or we looked at kind of what are the different areas, maybe character areas of Thomasville. And so if you look at the map, if you look through Thomasville, we have pretty well established what is called like a downtown area. So kind of our downtown proper, and then the surrounding areas. And then just outside of that, kind of that area is an area that are our traditional neighborhoods. And most of these are neighborhoods that were, the streets and everything were developed probably prior to 1950s. They're typically on a gridded pattern, oftentimes contain a lot of historic homes. So most of our historic neighborhoods are within our traditional neighborhoods, but there are also a lot of other neighborhoods in town that are on this traditional grid. And then stepping one step further outside of that, you have a lot of the neighborhoods that were built after the 1950s on a more suburban pattern, suburban style, that are out closer to the edge of town. And then outside of that, you get into this kind of highway area that's along the bypass and US 19. So if you look at these as kind of concentric circles of town, the area that is the focus of this traditional neighborhood infill district is that traditional neighborhood. So it's primarily the neighborhoods that make up the area around downtown, kind of in that concentric circle, moving out towards the edge.
Kenny, as we talk to some of those neighborhoods, can you give us some names of those
Sure.
neighborhoods?
So if you're looking at kind of, so starting at the north of town, kind of the like Carroll Hill neighborhood, kind of into town, like that would be one area. Moving clockwise, if you go around, kind of if you think of the area around Dawson Street and going out Clay, like that area, you kind of south of town, the Fletcherville neighborhood would be considered traditional neighborhoods, and then over, kind of completing the circle on over to Dewey City. So if you kind of look at those as kind of 4 points, everything in that area kind of moving in is really what falls within those traditional neighborhoods.
And what do you think the positive impact? And well, let's do 2 questions. What is infill, and what do you think the positive impact of this ordinance is going to be?
Sure. So infill is basically filling. It is kind of what it sounds. It's filling in on the vacant lots. So after going through the comprehensive plan, we began actually running some numbers and data on our traditional neighborhoods. And one thing we found is that 85% of the vacant lots in Thomasville are located within these traditional neighborhoods. So it is easily over 1,000 properties within these traditional neighborhoods that are vacant. And that means vacant, not vacant buildings, but vacant lots. So it's basically just grass on a street with no home or no property on it. And this was important for us, one, because if you look at these traditional neighborhoods, they're already we already have all of the infrastructure running to these neighborhoods. All of our water, all of our sewer, all of our electric. They already have streets. It is already built out for development, and these lots essentially make up what would equate to kind of be like gaps. If you think of gaps or like empty teeth kind of in a neighborhood, that the purpose of infill is to be able to fill back in those gaps to really kind of reestablish these neighborhoods. And so with that, we began to ask the questions, why, what are some of the reasons why these lots are empty? Why is no one building on these lots? And while that is a very complex question, there are a lot of nuances and answers to it. One of the things that really came to the forefront is that the actual zoning that we have in place, zoning being how the city regulates what can and cannot be built on a piece of property, is actually a barrier to developing on these lots. When we established zoning in 1958, the zoning that we put on these properties actually did not allow development on the lots because of things like the lot width, lot depth. Some of the parameters that were put on development made it very difficult to be able to build on these lots. And so the goal of the traditional neighborhood infill, or the TNID, is to legalize development on these lots and at least remove that one regulatory barrier from development, to hopefully allow and encourage people to come in and start building in on these empty lots in the neighborhoods.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's going to be I love that idea, and it just makes sense on so many different levels. So, what type of homes can be built on this new because of the new ordinance? What kind of homes can you build now?
So within the TNID, the goal is to be allowed to build what is called the missing middle housing. And so the reason they call it missing middle is because right now, in most cities and most municipalities, there are two types of things that can be built fairly easily. One is a moderate to large size single family home on a lot on one end, and on the other end is a large apartment complex. Those are kind of the two types of development that most communities allow to be built fairly easily. Anything in the middle, from small lot single family housing to duplexes to townhouses to things that we call kind of like a neighborhood unit, which is maybe a building that looks like a house but has 2 or 3 families living in it, or 2 or 3 units in that. All of these things were traditionally built. If you look through most neighborhoods in the United States, and especially in the South, a lot of neighborhoods had all of these type of housing all mixed in together. So different people were able to live in a neighborhood at different price points, and allowed for a variety of different family sizes. And zoning, essentially, when a lot of these communities adopted zoning in the 50s, it started to separate these uses out. So you could only have one use in one district and then another use in another district. And so a lot of these smaller missing middle types of housing started to disappear or started to go away. And so in most American communities, missing middle housing has not been built in the past 50 years because it's been illegal to do so. And so one of our hopes with this is to not only be able to allow the houses, single-family homes, to be able to build on these lots, but also open up the potential for some of these other missing middle housing types to be built as well, with the caveat that anything built in these neighborhoods would have to be house scale. That's probably the most important factor of the TNID that we really want to emphasize is the architectural standards and the house scale development standards, that anything built in these neighborhoods will have to look and be at the same scale and the same character as the single family homes, because that is what the important element is, to make all of these things blend in together to be part of one cohesive neighborhood.
Yeah. And so an example of that would be maybe on Clay Street, there are some kind of, they just like bigger homes, but they're apartments. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Right. So something like that. And there's one, so there, and actually we used as an image, kind of as an example, there's a duplex that's at the corner of Clay and Crawford. And just it looks, from the street, most people probably wouldn't even think that it was a duplex. It looks like a cute little house, but you look at the front door and you see it has 2 mailboxes. And if you start looking around town, we do have a few examples of that around town, And I think that's the thing that we want to be able to emphasize is that most of these homes, I think a lot of times when people hear the word duplex or they hear apartments, it's a cause for concern. They're like, we don't know what this, because they've seen so many bad examples of what a duplex looks like, or maybe apartment buildings that have not been built well. The intent of this is to be able to build these duplexes or these smaller homes in such a way that to the undiscerning eye, no one would even know that they weren't a home. They weren't, that they would be built to that same scale and character and level. And so that's kind of the type of development that we're hoping to be able to encourage. Also, with the hope that this would be able to help with some of our affordable housing issues by allowing a variety of housing types and housing at a variety of different price points to be built in these neighborhoods.
And the key part, I think you said back then, was approval
Mm-hmm.
and structure and design. And so, with that being said, there is an approval process for development in a TNID.
Yes, and so that's one thing that I will say we did not. That the traditional neighborhood district is not. It was adopted by city council, but it is essentially an opt-in model of zoning where a property owner has to come to the city and request to have their property zoned into the TNID. So it does not directly apply to any of these neighborhoods, any of these properties. The neighborhood that it's allowed and essentially just kind of sets the boundary for where it can be applied. But any individual property owner has to come to the city, has to request to zone into this. And when they do make that request, they have to go through the full rezoning process where letters are mailed out to some of their surrounding property owners. They have to receive approval from the Planning and Zoning Commission and ultimately approval from the City Council. So there's still an approval process, still a pretty, there's still a kind of a public approval that has to go through before any of these can be done. So it's not just, if someone says, oh my goodness, I live in this neighborhood, you're telling me an apartment's going to go up next door. That's not the case. There is a kind of a notification and an approval process that will have to go before each one of these moving forward. So anyone that's listening that might be concerned that their neighborhood has been changed without their knowledge, I just want them to rest assured that it's not the case. That there is still a full approval that any property will have to go through before the property is zoned into the TNID.
Yeah, and they should, of course, contact you. Like, what's your contact information if somebody wants to learn more about this?
Yeah, so if they want to learn more about the TNID, they could probably the best way to get a hold of me is over email at just kenneth.thompson@thomasville.org. They could also, if they are interested in rezoning their property into the TNID, I would say reach out to Molly Powell, our zoning administrator, and she can walk you through the process of what would be required for that rezoning application, what the timelines, what the schedules are, and how that process works.
Kenny, as we finish off this topic, is there anything else that we've missed about the TNID that would be important for the community to know?
I mean, I think really just emphasizing the fact that this is an opt-in district, and so it's something where even if it's something that someone is interested in doing, they would have to go through the process. That there are a certain set of development standards and architectural standards that go along with this to ensure that any new structure meets a compatibility requirement, and so it will fit in with the homes in the neighborhood. And also just kind of understanding the need within our community that we have a lot of vacant lots. There's a lot of opportunity for infill development because our ultimate goal is to help build thriving communities, help with our existing neighborhoods, anything that we can do to bring continued life, or bring life back to these areas. We really want to make sure that we are encouraging quality development within our community to help make Thomasville really the most livable town in the Southeast. I mean, that's kind of our goal. Is we know Thomasville is a wonderful place to visit, and we want to help kind of continue that and make Thomasville a wonderful place to live, and a wonderful place to live for everyone. And so we think that this district is a step in that direction. And so that's that's our ultimate goal. And if anyone has questions about what this means or how this could apply, please reach out, and we'd be happy to walk through.
Kenny, switching gears a little bit, are there any other projects, initiatives that are going on at the planning department these days?
Sure, we got a bunch, but I'll say that the one that is the most I'll say that the one that is upcoming in October that we're excited about is we're also kicking off a multimodal transportation plan. And so when we say multimodal, it means, kind of as you were talking about earlier, if you're walking or biking, those are kind of the primary means of multimodal, means other types of transportation than just the cars, but really just trying to make sure that all modes of transportation, all ways that people move between where they work and where they live and where they go to school, where they recreate, that there are all kinds of options for people of different ages and different abilities and different income levels, that everyone has the opportunity to move freely around their community. And oftentimes it means walking or biking, or even looking at things like golf carts, other ways that people can move around their community. So we are having a big kickoff workshop on our multimodal plan in October. It'll be October 21st through 23rd. It's a Tuesday through Thursday. Look for more information on the website. We'll be getting that up soon. And so if that's something you're interested in, something you want to learn more about, just go to thomasville.org and we'll have some more information on the website soon.
And that information will also be on the city's Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There are cities nearby that have really great walking paths and trails, and walking / biking, and so I'm glad that this is just something on our radar. I know it's going to be it's going to take a long time, and it's going to be one of those things that's going to, I just don't think it'll be done overnight. But I'm glad this is on everybody's radar.
So yeah, and it's something where we're happy to just look at our streets and kind of just looking at how do people move around Thomasville, how do people want to move, are there opportunities to improve that? And so this, as we looked into this, Thomasville has never actually had any sort of a formal transportation plan, and so this would really be the first effort for us to be able to establish that for our community, and hopefully build on things that we've done in the past, looking at trails, looking at sidewalks, looking at other types of initiatives that we've tried in the past, bringing all of that together, and then having a comprehensive transportation plan that we can move forward with. So we're excited. We hope you all come out and just know this is the first step in this, but it's not this is not the end. This is the beginning
Probably
of this
the beginning,
process.
yes.
So there will be more input to come. There will be more opportunities for people to participate. So this is really just the first step in this process.
First step, but it's important stuff because it's opportunity to receive input from the community. So this is a chance to be for the community to be heard and hear what's on their mind. So we always encourage our community to be at these workshops and meetings that allow them the opportunity to speak their minds.
Yeah, and I think Paradise Park is a good example because a lot of great things are happening right there now, and in some of these other parks too. I'm excited to see Balfour and Cherokee, not Cherokee, but Cassidy Road.
Mm-hmm.
But those types of things don't come overnight. There's been a lot of discussions and a lot of different things on all those. So I think that's an example for our citizens to say, give us your input, and then let's start working a plan. No matter if it's worth doing, it may take some time as well. That may be the case for us.
So yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, let's get to the sounds of the city. And you guys can guess.
No winter in September.
No winter in September.
No winter in September.
So we're going to move to a different sound. Although, again, I feel I'm trying to give our audience a layup. You guys can guess, and I won't tell you if we're wrong or right because we want somebody on Facebook to go ahead and let us know, and so we can hand you a prize. It's an autographed picture of Ricky in his soccer uniform back when he played in college. So really desired by everyone.
Only minus 10 pounds. Only minus 10 pounds.
Everybody wants it. It's one of those. It's up there with the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. I mean, it's just really valuable, hot memorabilia right now. So here we go. Sounds of the City. Boy, you guys better get this one. That's all I can tell you.
That Kenny on his bike, speeding through downtown.
That's the muffler on my bike for sure.
All right, guys. Fire away. What do you think?
Okay. I mean, that's the leaf blower.
All right, we got
That's
a leaf
mine.
blower.
I'm gonna double up on Kenny and say it is a leaf blower through downtown,
Okay. All
But
right.
what color?
orange and gray.
Mhm.
Pretty safe bet on what the color of the leaf blower is. No. All right, audience. Again, we'll choose a random winner. So please, we always appreciate participation, and you can also tell us how bad we are at hosting. That's totally fine as well. But we appreciate that, and appreciate you guys listening. And Ricky, you got some announcements for us.
Well, and just as a reminder, place your answers in the comment section of our Facebook page, or and let's see if we can find the winner. It's kind of building up like the lottery, right? Does the prize get bigger? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's been
Yes.
2 months now since we've had a winner. We had some good guesses in August and September, but no winners. Even obviously as guests, we weren't able to locate the answer. We won't get into my answer being correct in August, but
So what was the last one? I'm just curious.
The last
The
one.
big stumper.
Yeah, it was it was somebody on a pole saw. So it's somebody from Public Works on a pole saw.
Pole
So
saw. Okay.
you got close. There
yeah,
were some
a
close
lot of
answers.
people were really close. I don't think there was chainsaw or
It's
anything
like Family
that.
Feud. It's got to be
Mhm.
pretty
You
spot
just got to
on.
be pretty
you know?
close
Yeah.
on those kind of things. So
Well, let's wrap things up here. Let's take things to the great conclusion here. Kenny, as always, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for all the great insight and for spending some time with us. Very informative information for the community. And again, great job by the entire department and all the initiatives you guys are taking on and everything you guys do to continue to move and progress our city forward. So
Thank you.
a big thanks to you and the entire department, the entire departments
Yes.
actually that you guys work with and collaborate with in order to bring all these initiatives forward.
So it's definitely a team effort.
So we've got some upcoming events. It is a pretty solid calendar for October. We have Faith in Blue Fall Festival and Trunk or Treat put on by the Thomasville Police Department. That will be Saturday, October 11, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Thomas County Public Library lot. At the Thomas County Public Library parking lot, excuse me. We've also, as Kenny mentioned, we've got the Kenny Plan workshop and community presentation that will come up at the end of
I
October.
like the name. Let's stick
That-
with the
that's a-
name.
that's
We're
good.
calling it the Kenny Plan.
The Kenny Plan, yeah. That sounds that's it's a fitting thing.
Yes, that's right. I mean,
he might have done this just because he wanted clear
He wanted
routes
it-
for his walking.
I
and
know.
his-
I can
and his
see it
biking.
on the notebook binder now.
Yeah.
The Kenny Plan.
Yeah.
With Kenny looking up into the sky, kind of with a dreamy look of this plan of
On the
multimodal.
bicycle. of
On the
course.
bicycle, yes, looking up into the sky, kind of like a political campaign, and they all, the McKinley Plan, all these campaigns have famous plans. So
There's
the
great
Kenny
ones
Plan.
behind it. There's a
I
great
know.
mind right here.
Here we go.
He's a lot smarter than both of us. So.
Amen.
And
Not very hard, but go
yeah,
ahead.
it's not a hard threshold.
Yeah,
to
don't get the
cross.
big head, Kenny.
I mean, he passes half of him passes both of us combined on his worst day. So and then lastly, we're partnering with Literacy for Thomas County once again to host a literacy fair at the Ritz Amphitheater on October 21, 5 to 7 p.m. Another great evening. Hopefully beautiful weather like it was last year. Tons of kids come out, and it's an opportunity to continue to encourage kids to continue to develop with their literacy and to support really the school systems and everything that they're doing to encourage the kids to read and really become champions of reading.
Yeah, that's very important. In the age of cell phones, this is a big deal. We need leaders or readers, as I like to say. I've heard from
Like
somewhere.
that.
Mhm. Leaders
And
or
so,
readers?
yeah, those if you want your kids to get ahead, the reading is just going to be so much more important even in the digital age. It's going to be a big deal. So really glad that the whole community is rallying around literacy, because we really need to. All right, is that it? Okay, Ricky's giving me the nod. That's it. Again, Kenny, thank you. We will not pick on you as much as we normally do in the show, because you did a great job. So thank you, Kenny. Thank you, audience. We appreciate you joining us, and we remind everyone to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite listening app. We will talk to you next time.
You've been listening to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. The show is produced by the City of Thomasville Marketing Department. The show's music is by pond5.com. To learn more about the City of Thomasville, visit thomasville.org or follow us on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite listening app so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for listening.